Ooh, it's kind of dark in here. Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hey, y'all. Hey.
Hi.
I am looking crazy, so I apologize. I forgot that my puppy had a training class at 6, which is why I had to push it back to 7:30. So my apologies, but thank y'all for sticking with me. I'm excited. Now we had 10 people sign up and it's 3 of y'all in here now, so I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes.
Right.
But I definitely want to get started because I got some good info. Am I good with sound? Y'all can hear me good? Okay. A lot of you all are like in the process of writing and not really sure, based off of your entry for the class, not really sure what type of publishing you want to do as far as self-publishing or traditional publishing. So hopefully this information that I give you all is going to help make that decision a little bit easier. Let's see. Okay, I want to share my screen in a second. This is being recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Let me know if you cannot see my screen. I don't know how to share it. I am not a Zoom girl, okay, y'all? Okay, here we go. Oh, you are just really doing a lot. Sorry if y'all can hear my puppy breathing. He's extra. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is your intro to publishing. I am Christian Cashelle, and I am excited to give you all what I know, just based off of my experience. So whatever industry you're in, whether you've been in the book industry or this is like your first go around with writing, I'm excited to help you all. This is my favorite thing in the world to do is talk about books. So if I need to slow down or if I'm talking too fast or you have any questions, just let me know. This isn't like super formal or anything like that. So I know with me personally, I may forget a question if I try to hold it in. So, just say, hey, I got a question, and I'm cool to stop whenever you need me to. So hopefully you get more information, but the best thing about this is there's no wrong answer. So whether you decide if you want to traditionally publish or self-publish or do a little bit of both, it really just depends on what's best for you, your brand, and you as a person. It's not wrong. So some people may try to convince you to self-publish. Some people may try to convince you to do traditional. The only thing that I'm here to do is give you information on both so that you can make an informed decision. So, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So the biggest misconception is a lot of times you'll hear this term aspiring writer. Take aspiring off of it. I don't know if you all have heard that or not, but if you decided to write, that means you're a writer. There's no aspiring to it. You are a writer, whether you published or not. So it kind of gives you like that, like a newbie type of feel when you say it's aspiring and people kind of treat you that way. You're a writer. So that's first and foremost. You are a writer. You're not an inspiring writer. And just to give you all a little bit of history on my company, I started Dynamic Image in 2006. At the time, I said it was a publishing company, but I had only self-published myself, which is some information that I'm going to give you a little further on in this presentation. We have currently 13 titles published. Most of them are fiction. We have a couple of poetry books, and then we also have a devotional, which was our first nonfiction book that came out 2 years ago. We have won awards just recently. I won Author of the Year at Heels and Hustle in Atlanta. Not Atlanta, Houston, sorry.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited. We have 2 senior editors. We also have an acquiring editor who filters our submissions, which is another thing you're going to learn about. And that's pretty much it. So we do a little bit, we're growing. And this is completely optional. So I know a few of you already, but if you'd like to give your name and where you're from and what your writing goal is, so we can kind of help each other out, hold each other accountable. Anyone want to go first?
I'll go first. My name is Ashley, but I go by Nikki. My middle name is Nicole, so I like to go by Nikki. Right now, I'm located in Michigan, but getting ready, and I'm in a huge move right now to Maryland.
Okay.
There's a lot going on right now. I guess when you say how I've been a writer, I've been writing poetry for a while, but I just finished my first book. I just haven't published it yet.
Yay.
And what is my writing goal is to finally get my book published. But really my book is supposed to be like, it's really a company that I'm trying to start. I don't know if it's like a nonprofit company or not, but that's really where the goal is going. But the book is the center of what the company is supposed to offer. So.
Gotcha. So I definitely have some good information for you.
Congratulations on your first book, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me lower my hand. I'm sorry. I do use Zoom quite a bit, so sometimes I forget. But my name is Nice. I write under K McCoy, and I guess you could say I made writing official in 2016. My writing goal is to just keep telling stories that I like. Because it can be so tempting right now to like write to the market, write to trend, and I don't want to do it. Yeah. So I'm originally from Southwest Florida, but right now I'm in West Virginia because I'm hoping against hope that people start acting right and I can travel again, and it don't look like it's gonna happen. So I just chose the lesser of 2 evils and decided to stay in West Virginia. Yeah, but yeah, that's me.
All right, we got one more person.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm fine. My name's Katrina. I'm located in St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey.
Yeah, not too far from you. And well, I actually only been writing since December. I've been writing since December, and I wanted to publish a book about my life, my past. I wanted to tell my story to help other women. Like, I mean, I'm make it brief because I was incarcerated.
Okay.
From 16 until I was 32.
We talked somewhere, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I remember.
47.
Yeah.
I'm finished now. I'm finished right now. Yeah, and I'm gonna be 47. I'm a cosmetology instructor, but it is success after incarceration. Just telling about my life and where I'm at now. And then I, just recently went through abuse, so I wanted to write a book about that. I just finished writing it, so I'm just trying to. I want to get it published.
That's awesome. I'm glad you finished. That is what's up. Oh, I guess I better answer, huh?
Yeah.
My name is Christian. I'm in St. Louis by way of Illinois. I moved over here a couple years ago. I have been writing since I was 8 years old. So I wrote my first poem when I was 8. I started writing fiction in high school, and I published my first book in 2009. My goal now is to kind of I love writing because it's my passion, but my goal is to help my authors and help other people navigate this industry, because there was so much that I didn't know when I started. Oh, my first book was horrible, y'all. It wasn't edited. It looked a mess. The cover was horrible. I just had no direction. So it was really a lot of trial and error to get to this point. And I realized because there's so much information out, we can kind of get the wrong information and still not do it right. So my goal is to kind of just help who I can help. So, all right. So the biggest thing you all probably want to know is the difference between self-publishing and publishing. So to publish means to prepare an issue for public sale or distribution. So basically putting out a book, right? You can be publishing a poetry collection, anything that you have. When you're putting it out for people to actually sell, or for you to sell and people to actually buy, it's being published. So when you self-publish, that means you're responsible for everything. When you go through a traditional publisher, that means that they are responsible. Well, in a perfect world, it means that they are responsible for doing the work for you and giving you credit for it. There are a lot of things that go into both of them. So I'm just going to give the basics. But if there's something that you want more information on, just stop me and say, hey, can you explain a little bit more about that? And then I'll go more into that. So with self-publishing, you are 100% the owner. So we like that because that means we get all of the money. But a lot of times we forget that that means we have to do all of the work. So the pros of it, why I chose to do it in the beginning, was because I didn't want to give anybody any royalties off of my books. I wanted all of my money because it was my book, right? I didn't want anybody to change my words or my work. So if you hear a lot of traditional publishers, they have editors on their team who may rewrite your whole book. And because you signed the contract with them, you don't have any control over how your work is being presented to the public. So that's something that you have to be, wary of. So when you're self-publishing, you get full legal control, full creative control. You are the publisher of your book. But that also means you have to do 100% of the work. Now, whether that is you outsourcing it, so say like a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I don't know what this means. Can you do it? Whether you're doing that yourself or you're outsourcing it, you're responsible for that. So everything's coming out of your pocket. So book covers, marketing, editing, design, all the things that need to be done for your book to look professional, that's coming out of your pocket so that you can keep 100% of the ownership. So that's basically, self-publishing is kind of self-explanatory when it comes to that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So this is just kind of like a checklist. So like I said before, with my first book, I didn't know what I needed to do. I thought I just printed it and it was fine. So I didn't get it edited. I didn't have it formatted, which pretty much is, if you think about it, when you're writing on a regular size piece of paper. Formatting it in design is how the book looks when it's printed. So I got 50 books up here. So just like how it looks, like the names at the top, the pages, all of that is format and design. Don't mind my sticky notes. I like to keep notes when I'm reading books, but all of this is a part of formatting and design. Ownership rights, that's your copyright and your ISBN, which is your book's social security number. All of that needs to be done if you want to be professionally taken seriously as an author. Who's going to print your book, who's going to distribute it, and who's going to market it. The good thing is there are a lot of companies that do distribution and printing at the same time, which is a lot of people using Amazon. But you're still responsible for figuring out how that works because you're self-published. So the list is this is a little vague, but this is basically all the things you have to keep in mind when you're self-publishing. Now, when you put that against traditional publishing, you're not really responsible for any of that. You're supported by an established company. So if you think about whoever's your favorite author, mine's Eric Jerome Dickey, rest in peace. Terry McMillan, all of them, they have these big the big publishers behind them. So if you get signed to one of them, or even a smaller one that may be like regional, you have that established brand to fall back on. So like, hey, I'm signed to this publisher. People are already going to be like, oh, she got a traditional publisher. So you kind of get clout off of their name. So that's a pro to traditional publishing. You have shared responsibility. Most of the time, if it's a big business, they have a budget for marketing. They have a budget for promotion. They have a budget for editing. And even sometimes you have the possibility of an advance, which is pretty much them giving you money before your book even sells. Now, the issue with that is you got to read the contract. So you may be responsible for paying that back if your book don't sell, or they may only give you a certain amount of time that they're actually pushing your book before they shelf it, and they don't put any more money into your marketing. Again, they have kind of control over your creativity. They kind of tell you what your cover looks like. You don't have control over that because they're putting money into your project. Then you also have to share your royalties. So depending on what your contract is, they might do like a 60-40 split, 50-50. A lot of them aren't going to do 50-50 with you. I'm going to just tell you that offhand. They're not going to do it. So it's a push, it's a pros and cons to it, depending on if you feel like your book needs a traditional publisher, or if you feel like you don't want to do all the work a self-publisher does, so you kind of just got to decide what looks best for you. The reason that I decided to self-publish in the beginning was because I didn't see a publisher that catered to the books that I wrote. So back then, the urban fiction books were really popular, and I wasn't writing like that, but I also didn't write like the historical fiction or Christian fiction books. I was kind of like in the middle, and I didn't think that a traditional publisher would actually take care of me pretty much. So I just decided to do it myself. But you may see a company that you follow that the authors write like you write, and they have a really good following, and that people are buying their books. So you may want to say, hey, I think I would be a good fit. So traditional publishing may be the way for you to go. A traditional publisher will not ask you for any money. This is big for a reason, because there are going to be a lot of companies that'll say they're a traditional publisher, but if they ask you to come out of pocket before for any reason, like for a book copy or a cover, they're not a traditional publisher. They're what we call a hybrid publisher. A vanity publisher. And I'll tell you more about that soon, but that's for sure the telltale sign to know that they're not a traditional publisher is if they ask you for some money. So when you traditionally publish, you can't just call the company and say, hey, I want to publish with you. Just kind of like with musical artists, like they have to pretty much shop themselves and sell themselves to this company. A lot of traditional publishers will not talk to you as the author directly. They'll say, you need a literary agent. So then you have to find a literary agent, right? It's a lot to me. If you notice, like a lot of people talk about rejection letters from publishers and literary agents. I just read a girl that said they told her her book was really good, but they didn't connect with it, so they denied her. Like weird stuff like that. It's weird to me. I don't get it, but that's just how the industry is right now. If you don't have a literary agent, you're not going to be able to shop a traditional publisher. And if you have to find a literary agent first, and they'll do the shopping for you because they already have those connections. A query letter is what you'll need to find a literary agent. So it's kind of like a cover letter if you're trying to find a job. So you got to research the literary agent, see what type of books they like or they like to connect with. And usually the ones that I know will have all that information like on a website or something like that. So you can decide if you want to try to work with them or not. But the query letter is going to be like, oh, pretty much like a cover letter. I read this about you and I think we'd be a good fit. They'll ask you for a synopsis of your book. They may ask for a chapter. So it's pretty much your resume is a query letter. A media kit is a little bit more detailed, but it's still like a resume. And then the synopsis of your book is just like the summary of it. It's not what goes on the back of the book. This is like a full detailed, like a book report is what the synopsis is. I feel like I said a lot.
Yeah. Well, I have a quick question. For like the media kit, if you are looking for a literary agent who reads more than one genre, how would you like customize or like tailor fit your media kit? Would you just do like one book, or would you focus on each genre that you write in?
I would focus on one. Sorry, I had some people joining. I didn't see that y'all was waiting. I'm so sorry. Hey, y'all. I wonder if I can just set it to automatically allow people to come in. I don't know. Sorry. So I would base it off of the market, I would say. So what's popular? What book are you trying to start with? See if they have like a list of their current clients. So even if they working on different genres, they may feel like, oh, it's a push for fiction right now. And kind of do a little bit more research deep into that. Maybe mention that you have other genres that you're working on, but kind of focus on the one that you feel like could get them out, that you can get out quickest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little similar to what's on trend, but for what you write. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I've seen some, like you said, they'll have a whole list of 50 different genres, and it's like, okay, you're kind of all over the place. So let me see what's trending to make it, because they're going to look at what's trending too, right? So I may love mystery, but if I know that people are pushing for biographies right now, and then you come and say, I have this dope biography, I'm going to be like, okay, I need to work with her because that's trending, and I can get her in the face of these traditional publishers quicker than I can get anybody else because it's trending. Okay, so a vanity publisher is someone who publishes in their name, but at your expense. So for instance, to say like, I would say, oh, I have a new author with dynamic image, but I made them pay for editing, or I made them pay for formatting and design. I shouldn't be getting the credit for that, right? Because you did all of the work. We did the work, but you paid for it. That's not how a traditional publisher works. And so you have to be careful when you're shopping. If you decide to shop a traditional publisher, vanity presses may say they're traditional. There's nothing wrong with this style, but they should be giving you all of the credit if you're paying for the service. So it's just like an outsource. So if I'm saying, a ghostwriter, if you're paying me to ghostwrite your book, my name doesn't go on the book, yours does, because that's your work, because you paid for it. So just be wary of that if you decide to traditional publish. If they got prices, they not a traditional publisher. And if you have, if you come into contact with one where their language is kind of vague and you're not really sure, send it to me and I'll let you know, because they can get kind of tricky sometimes with how they word stuff. I don't like it. I don't have any examples of one now. I think a lot of them kind of fizzled out, like in this decade. Oh, that made me feel kind of old saying that. I've been publishing that long. But like when I first started out, they were really popular because self-publishing was getting popular. And so it was a way to say, hey, you might not know what to do, but we do, and we'll publish it for you. But they were asking for money, and that's not how that works. So then you have the hybrid publishers, which is what my company is. So I traditionally publish. I take submissions, and I have a committee who reads the submissions. If we decide to publish the book, then we take on all of the expense. I have a split with my royalties for my authors, and they don't come out of pocket for anything beforehand. Now, if they want copies of their book to sell, then I have author copy prices so that the publishing company can recoup our royalties. But other than that, they don't come out of pocket for anything. However, I also offer services to my clients that want to self-publish. So we edit format design, do all of that for my clients, but they aren't dynamic image authors. Does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, so I'm not taking money from them to say that they're dynamic image authors. If I have a client that's self-publishing, they still get all of the credit. I put everything in their name. Dynamic image is not attached. A lot of times I won't even put, I edited the book. Like, it's completely separate from us. We're just offering this service because we have experience with this service. So you will find, yeah.
So when you guys do or when you help, self-publishing, offer the services, do you direct the author, like where to get their book printed at, and the and all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I have a kind of like a la carte, because there are some people who know all of that but just don't want to do the work. But then I have some clients who don't know any of that, and they're like, I just need you to do it for me, but I want to self-publish. So I have a list of resources that I've used over the years, depending on what you want for your book. So some people want a journal that has like color printing and things like that. So I'll say, okay, I know these printers offer good quality for what you want. Then you pick out of those lists. Or some people come to me and say, hey, I want to use this specific printer. And I'm like, cool, I can go look and see what their requirements are and work based off of what you want. But I do have recommendations based off of what you want for your book.
Does that include marketing too?
At the moment, it does not include marketing, because I don't have anyone in-house to do marketing. We just have editors and designers. So I am currently looking for someone to do that though, but I don't have anyone on staff. Now, I do work with a publicist who gives me a checklist of things to do for self-promotion. So I always share that with my clients, just little things that you can do, but specifically marketing services we don't have yet. And I'm mad about it. We're working on it. So say you decide that you want to start your own publishing company, right? Because you self-publish does not make you a publisher. That's the first thing I had to learn. I thought because I self-published a book that I was a publisher, and that ain't how it worked. It didn't work like that at all. So there are some things that you're going to have to do as the publisher that is going to separate you from a self-published author. Of course, you're going to need authors, right? So to own a publishing company, you have to have a legal business entity. You cannot be a sole proprietor and own a publishing company. Now, you can self-publish a book that way. You don't have to have a company to do that. No, I didn't. Niece, I have not filled that position yet. They're all on the website. So it's under, if you go to dipublications.com, there is a tab at the top that says opportunities, and it has all of those listed. But to own a publishing company, you have to have a legal entity, you have to publish other authors, you have to recruit other authors and take them through the publishing process. You have to figure out your royalty split. So with my authors, I tally up how much it costs us to print the book, edit the book, publish it, get it ready for print, right? And I do a 50-50 split with my authors until my expenses are paid. And then I do a 60-40 split with 60 going to the authors. A lot of companies are not going to do this. I do it because I'm an author, and that's how I set up my business, and that's what I wanted to do. A lot of people are going to do 60-40 the other way. Some I've even seen do 70-30, which I think is ridiculous. I just don't feel like that's fair. If it's my book, you shouldn't be making more money off of it than me. So whether that's a good business move or not, that's just how I've been doing it since I've been in business, and we're still a business. So that's just what I decided to do. But I have people who negotiate that, who may say, oh, if I've come, just how you negotiate a contract. So you just have to be open to that. Copyright agreements all of the things we own, I put them in the author's name, but I have an agreement that gives me access to it. So if they were to leave and I don't sell their book anymore, they have the rights to that book. It's not mine after my contract expires. So that just kind of depends on how you want to do it if you want to be a publisher, if that makes sense. Y'all got any questions about that? I know that was kind of weird.
It was a little.
Well, no, okay, so basically a lot of people are saying that they own a publishing company, but they really don't, because they don't have like the legal part of it, like the actual paperwork in place. So if you only have like your ISBNs and like copyright agreements, you don't own a publishing company. You're just a more aware author.
Exactly. Like I file taxes separately. This is a business entity. We have a tax ID number. It's separate from me. It's you know, it's not just me saying, oh, I'm helping people publish, because there are a lot of people who do that and they'll be using a business name that's never been registered. You know, it's like, so you have to have a business. Okay. How you decide to run it is completely up to you. So, and some people don't want to do that. If you want to just be a self-published author, that's great. I probably maybe would have decided not to be a publisher if I wouldn't have already jumped into it. When I realized all of the work that went into it, I was like, oh, I just wanted to write. I didn't want to do all of this. Like, but I'm in it now, you know? So you definitely have to, it's really the legal aspect of it to say that I own a company. And I'm helping others and I have legal rights to their work and things like that. It's not just, oh, well, let me help you out, which is fine, but you know, you just got to do it right.
That's like consulting.
Yeah, exactly. Say you're a consultant. Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, because I understand what you mean, though. You're like, if I know what I know now, I probably would have done it, but I'm glad you
Absolutely
did.
not. But I had the business already, so it was like, dang. So this is just kind of like basically the services that I offer. So dynamic edits is all of the things that Katrina, you were saying, like when we help with editing, who you want to print through, all of that. This is for a lot of people who may want to be traditionally published but want their book to be edited first. A lot of times they won't take a book that's unedited because it may need to be cleaned up. You know, some people write a book and feel like it may be missing something and they need some editing beforehand, anything like that. Or a lot of people self-publish themselves but want to edit, don't want to edit it. The DIY-ish package is when we do everything. So I do everything, you get all the credit is the easiest way to put that. And B2B is just for like businesses. So like you were saying, Nick, you're wanting to start a business with your brand. So say like you get into social media and stuff like that, and see y'all be reading people's statuses and be like, oh, that didn't even make no sense. Or they should have edited that before they posted that. You ever seen them when you be like reading somebody's status about their business? Yeah, that's B2B is that. So batch editing for content, batch editing for social media. We offer that so that your brand standards meet, you know, the right audience that you wanted to meet. Basically, yeah.
That is crucial.
Very, very, very.
Yeah.
So really, I know that was very brief, but do y'all have any questions on anything that was presented? I know y'all got some questions.
I have one. Well, I have several, but I'm gonna start with this. As far as traditionally published, do you know what does someone need to do if they want to become a literary agent? Because it just sounds to me like soft marketing, but like, how do you even get connections to like traditionally published companies to become like a literary agent?
So it's more almost just like a publicist, but in the literary world. So it's really based on connections and relationships and networking. So, excuse me, I know a woman who started out as an editor and went into being a literary agent. And then she built these relationships. So she kind of already has this network of people that she can reach out to. But when she gets a new client, a lot of people basically networking.
So you could become like an agent for like a smaller publishing company.
For sure. Absolutely.
Because I've only heard that term used for traditionally published, and I was just like, why is that so different?
Yeah, and it's not, because then you think about it, smaller publishing companies might need literary agents for their region. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, just like there's 1 million small independent publishers. If somebody says, hey, I want to do this independently, but I don't know where to start, they could get a literary agent for that.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a market for that. And then, because a lot of times even self-published authors end up looking for literary agents because they want to republish their book with a traditional publisher. A lot of traditional publishers will take your book if they see that it's selling as a self-published book.
Oh, okay. So they show up a little late to the party, but
yeah, especially you selling already, and I just got to give you a little money. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's just like if you think about like with independent artists when they blow up on YouTube and then next week they got a record deal. They just capitalizing off of that. So if they see that you selling already as a self-published author and you are a professional, because that means you're still going to work. If you're not going to work with them, then it's a waste of money for them.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, do y'all provide, I guess maybe it's depending on the package, but coaching on how to like network? Because I already have like some people in mind that I want to partner with for my business. So do y'all do that?
So I usually put resources out on our blog. I haven't done anything specifically about networking, but usually with my clients, I kind of write out scripts for them. Like I have one client now who's writing a book for therapists. So I have a script for her to put into therapy groups and things like that. Email me and I'll see what I can do for you just now anyway. But a lot of times it's really Facebook, the groups that you're in that are already related to your brand, those are going to be your best bet to start networking. Hey, I'm writing a book about this topic and I want to talk to a couple of people about what they experience. People love to talk about what they doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you frame it in a way where it's like, I'm trying to get information from you, you're building that relationship with them because they know that you're interested and not just trying to sell them something. But yeah, definitely email me tell me a little bit more about what you're doing specifically and I can give you some tips.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? This was really basic. I do plan on going in depth in certain specific areas. So if it's something that you feel like you want more information on, please email me because I don't know what people need to know. So I just kind of, base it off of what people tell me. So if it's like, hey, I need a class on this. Like my last class was writing a book in 30 days because somebody said they wanted to finish really quick. So I'm open. This is my full-time job. Thank you, Jesus. And I got all the time in the world to talk about it. So I'm down for whatever y'all need me to be down for.
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to make a point with you for my next step.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited about reading your book too.
Ooh,
yeah.
Lord. I'm ready, and I've posted it. I printed it today and posted a little quick video of me slapping down. So
yes, like promotion.
Hundreds of people want to buy it already, and I'm just like, plus because I do have an online store.
Okay, well, great.
And I teach. So I'm it's gonna sell most definitely. So
that's what's up. Yes, build the brand before the book.
Yeah, I'm confident about it. It's gonna go. I'm gonna do some touring with mine. I wanna do, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm ready as soon as possible.